President Barack Obama says he would, quote, think about changing the Washington Redskins. Jeff, you've been talking about this with me, and I've been going it over
There's
with
one
you.
problem with that, Sean. There's one problem with that. It's not up to him to change the name. He's not the owner.
Yeah, he should be focusing on the government shutdown instead of talking about the Redskins.
Right. And the owner, which is Dan Snyder, he ain't changing it.
No, and I've been thinking that the Redskin fans would not appreciate changing it to a different team. We made a joke. We were saying, oh, let's change it to the Washington Scammers because of all the scams and trouble on Capitol Hill.
Right.
Here's what Obama says. He goes, quote, I don't know whether our attachment to a particular name should override the real legitimate concerns that people have about these things.
He's a moron. Hey, Barack. Don't worry about sports right now. Worry about the United States and the government because there's a problem there. Keep your ass and your mind out of sports and put it where it belongs.
Yeah, I was like saying, shouldn't you be focusing on politics? And because the government shutdown is hurting the economy big time.
I'm not sure. Hey, the government shut down. We're not shut down. We're still freaking here. Come on,
we're still
freaking
going
Obama.
Live and strong.
That's right, Obama. Get the freaking shit together.
Obama, in an interview with the Associated Press, said teams' names such as the Redskins offend, quote, a sizable group of people. He said that while fans get attached to the names, good luck with that one. That's a tough one. I couldn't say that one right. May not be good enough reason to keep them in place.
Tough titty. They've been the Washington Redskins, Obama, as long as you've been alive. So tough titty.
Yeah, it's probably going back. The Redskins have been around for a long time, since the 30s or 40s. So that's one of the big topics. Another topic is Hoyer tears his ACL. He's going to be out for the whole year. Browns' Brian Hoyer is done for the year.
Well, looks like they're not going to need him anyway because they got Whedon, right?
Yeah, Brandon Whedon. And the Browns are playing like a team that doesn't seem to have any trouble. But like you and I said yesterday on the show, can the Cleveland Browns stay in this thing, or will it just be Baltimore and Cincinnati? Because right now, Pittsburgh certainly is not a team that is contending and isn't doing very well. And that's another, that's a really quick topic. Another quick topic we get to, Jeff, the Steelers, a lot of problems with their team. And Wes, if you're not here, shame on you. You probably want to hear about the Steelers too. You're probably thinking, oh, don't worry, the Steelers will go. You remember you said 9-7 yesterday.
He's probably watching the Pens somewhere.
Yeah, he's getting ready for tomorrow because he knows it's a big day for the Pittsburgh teams because you got the Steelers playing and then a baseball team in Pittsburgh will drop it like that.
The Steelers aren't at home tomorrow, are they?
No, I do not believe they are. And if they go to 0-5, there's a problem. And, Jeff, I would say right now, with each loss, and if Pittsburgh doesn't turn it around, Mike Tomlin will get fired.
I don't know if he'll get fired.
I think he's on the hot seat. I really do.
Think so. See, I don't think so. Because I don't think it's his fault. His offensive line sucks, and Ben Roethlisberger can't run worth the crap.
Well, and the fumbles have hurt them, and they haven't played very well either.
See, and he's not fumbling the ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's not his fault that his team can't do the plays they sent him.
Yeah.
It's the team's fault.
Yeah.
Right?
It is the team's fault. And the Steelers, actually, I think I'm looking at it right now.
They got a bye.
Yeah, they have a bye this weekend. I was
just
taking a look right now.
So maybe they'll be at the Pittsburgh game tomorrow.
Yeah, they do, Ebo. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so Pittsburgh has a bye this weekend, and there's just a bunch of areas they have to fix. And, well, I've seen Tomlin and his press conferences throughout the first 4 weeks, and you can just see how disappointed he is that the Steelers aren't getting it done. The offensive line is pathetic. And Roethlisberger has not been very effective, and they've lost some key fumbles and some key games and lost a heartbreaker to Minnesota down in London, England. And I cannot believe I was saying this, but I do believe – I'm going to look at the picks right now. Last week, I believe I picked the Pittsburgh Steelers to win, and yes, I did. Minnesota did beat them, so – might be the last time I go for Pittsburgh unless they turn around. But Wes says I'm still convinced that the Steelers will go 9-7.
Somebody's got to be.
Your Giants, of course, are playing tomorrow, and of course, Jeff, the big topic will be how well will your G-men do without the 3 offensive linemen that got hurt.
They're not doing well, are they?
No.
They lost the first game to Kansas City, and they got Philadelphia this week. And I was just looking at the pick distribution over there in Philadelphia just for...
I'm looking at it now.
It's 51-49 Giants. What are you, freaking kidding me?
51% for Philadelphia, 49 for the Giants.
Oh, it's 49 for the Giants?
Yeah, and 51% for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, there, yeah. So that's too close. It should be more like 75-35 Philadelphia.
Yeah, I just can't believe that the pick distribution would be that close because the Giants aren't playing very well. They're not doing they've looked real sloppy, and of course, game against Carolina was the worst game ever in Giants history, one of the worst losses. Then they go to Kansas City and get humiliated by Andy Reid's Kansas City Chiefs. So that's one of the other big headlines, and I figured we'd start the show off tonight before we get to our picks with some of the big headlines. And everybody else is talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, by the way. They are actually playing tomorrow against Tennessee. And everybody's wondering, Jeff, you used to live in Kansas City. I used to live close to Kansas City, and we remember the years when the Chiefs were so horrible. Everybody's saying, can the Chiefs keep this up? Will they be able to overtake Denver in the AFC West? Will they be able to get the number 1 seed? I can't wait, Jeff, until that first matchup when Kansas City plays Denver to see where both teams are at.
Well,
I still think Denver's got a slight edge, though.
It ain't going to happen this week, and it ain't going to happen next week, because you know who Denver plays next week?
Who?
My favorite team in all of NFL. Who's my favorite team in all of NFL? And I'm saying it facetiously, so you should be able to figure it out in 2 seconds. Which team do I pick every week to score the least points in the NFL?
Jacksonville.
That's who they play. How disgusting is that?
Oh, that's
now,
that's a cake.
How
that's
funny,
like a cakewalk.
Now, how funny would it be if Jacksonville beat them? We know
I tell you one thing. With us going over the NFL Real Talk shows and stuff, I would be really stunned if Jacksonville beat Denver next weekend, but
it's not
highly
unlikely. It's not going to happen, just like Dallas ain't going to beat Denver this weekend.
Well, one of my friends who's my friend who's the Cowboy fan said, "Hey Jeff, how does it feel that the midgets are 0-4? Ha 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 ha."
Doesn't matter. How does it feel to have the Cowboys 2-2 and leading the division? Yeah. And the Cowboys and the Giants are only 2 games back. Huh? Whistle me that, Dixie boy. See what I'm saying? He can't talk too much because the Cowboys are only 2 games up. They've only won 2 games. And they're not going to win tomorrow against the freaking Broncos unless Peyton Manning gets his leg broken.
And unless Tony Romo has a good game against Denver. He has to be sharp, and that game is in Big D tomorrow.
Do you know that Jerry Jones is comparing Tony Romo to Peyton Manning? I want the pot that Jerry Jones is smoking because it's freaking crazy good. Because if he thinks that's nuts.
I would have to say he is smoking something pretty bad.
Holy
because if
freaking cow!
Because it's simple. Look at the playoff history. Peyton Manning has had more wins than Tony Romo. Romo has only won 1 playoff game, and that was 34-14 against Philadelphia.
In 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton
Manning's been around since 1998, and he has 1 Super Bowl, and Romo doesn't have any Super Bowls.
Peyton Manning took the year off and still had a better year last year than Tony Romo did.
Yep. They got all the way to the AFC divisional playoff game before they lost in double overtime to Baltimore, 38-35.
The year that Peyton Manning was out because of his neck surgery and all that,
yeah,
had a better year than Tony Romo did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Tony Romo stinks. And if Jerry Jones thinks that Tony Romo is going to become Peyton Manning, then Jerry Jones, whatever you're smoking, dude, keep on smoking it because you're crazy.
What's next? What's he going to say? Oh, I'm going to compare Tony Romo to Tom Brady. I'm going to compare Tony Romo to Eli Manning. Oh, I'm going to compare Tony Romo to Joe Montana. He certainly is smoking some bad stuff
He
when you think
is,
of.
man. Are you kidding me? There's no way in hell. There's a great article. A great article. I think it's on NFLRealTalk.com. A
Mm-hmm.
great article about Jerry Jones saying how Tony Romo is as good as Peyton Manning. Are you freaking kidding me?
That's nuts.
Just go over there, and I believe it's in the Cowboys section, in the Cowboys categories. Check it out. There's a picture of Tony Romo there. Tony Romo's going to be just as good or better than Peyton. What are you, freaking smoking dope, dude? Come
It's
on.
just like how Jerry Jones was all happy last year in early September when the Cowboys went into MetLife and spoiled the Giants Super Bowl party, and then they won. Then the Giants pulled it out in Dallas. Then this year, Jerry Jones has been talking about saying, he goes, well, I can guarantee you we can not only win a Super Bowl, but we're going to win a lot of playoff games and we're going to make noise this year. I would not be getting too far ahead of myself there, Mr. Jerry Jones, because you have to know very well that Dallas lost against Kansas City, and I think they lost last weekend. And at 2-2, they better figure out a way to turn it around. They're barely hanging on.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, lost against San Diego, and that was when they blew an 11-point lead against them. Like you and I have always stated, in the 5 years we've done shows and we've covered Tony Romo, he just can't win the big games. And if Dallas is going to be in this thing come December, I can tell you one thing. If it's tight, chances are Romo will not be very effective. And then everybody in Big D will be up in arms saying, well, why didn't the Cowboys get to the playoffs? Why are they not winning the big games in December? Because Romo doesn't
Because
get
they
the job
stink.
done. Like Jeff says, he's the average quarterback at best.
At best. Roger Starbuck said he's a champ. He's a Super Bowl quarterback. Hey, Roger, you're getting a little senile in your old age, aren't you? I love
Probably.
you, dude. I love you. I think you're the best Dallas Cowboy quarterback of all time. My opinion. Only my opinion. I think he's the best Dallas Cowboy quarterback of all time. Tony Romo is nowhere near your play or Troy Aikman's play. And as long as Tony Romo is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, they will not win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he has to prove it, and he's not proven it at all, especially since he's won one playoff game. And again, when that was against Philadelphia, it ended all the playoff losing for Dallas because they had lost. If I can remember correctly, it was 6 straight playoff games they lost, and they beat Philadelphia. And then it's just like they have lost in heartache. They just continue to, especially in the month of December. I'll never forget when they played the Giants back in 2011. It was Christmas Eve, and Dallas went right in there against the Giants, hosted them, thinking we had nothing to lose. Then they played absolutely pathetic.
Yeah,
And played
you know
bad
something?
on the last night, actually the last game of the season.
Peyton's quarterback rating is a 138. Romo's is a 105. Hey, Jerry Jones, they're nowhere near each other. How do you compare?
I hate the fact that he's talking so much smack, especially with Peyton Manning. He's throwing a total of 16 touchdown
And you want to know
passes
something?
and no interceptions.
Romo's tied with Aaron Rodgers in quarterback rating, and Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Tony Romo.
Yeah, the Cowboys, we'll see how well they look, but I remember when they beat St. Louis, I was just sitting there listening to ESPN, and it's kind of like they're feeling like they're in favor of Dallas being the better team this year in all of the NFL. They're saying, well, the Cowboys are 2-1. They're the team that's going to be the most likely dangerous. They'll just start walking away with the NFC East.
How many years?
I sit there and I watch that, and I'm like, it's still a long season. What the heck is the matter with you people?
How many years has the Seattle quarterback Wilson been in the playoffs? How many years he's been in the NFL? 1 or 2?
I think it's been 2 years, Jeff.
And he's been in how many playoff games?
A lot more than Tony Romo has.
And how many playoff game wins does he have?
I would say, I'm just kind of doing it in my head.
He's got more than Romo.
About 4 or 5.
Got more than Romo, so who's a better quarterback, Jerry Jones? Tony Romo or Wilson?
Wilson.